Counterpunch promo live in 3, 2, 1.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy, brought to you by IPMNation.com. If you're not going to bring your own bold, why not just stay in bed?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All-Natural Being. Warning, All-Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening and welcome. What's a little different tonight is you are welcome to join us for the very final episode, final evening episode at least, let me say, of all this evening, because it represents, as I said, our very last evening of doing it just that way. We'll be doing mornings from now on, so I'm excited about it. It's how I got my start, believe it or not. How I got my start here in doing all this. I was talking to Matt Connerton today from over at IPM Nation, as you know him. Talking to Matt and say, yeah, it's been 400 and some odd episodes now since we've been, I used to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to pull off that show. So we won't be doing a lot of that 2 a.m. thing, but we are excited to be back 7 a.m. Eastern time, and we're, as I said, very, very excited about it. All right, so this evening, a bunch of stuff that I want to get to, including a little bit of the reformat of what we're going to be doing for the show starting a Monday morning. What if it's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, Monday, March 4th. But if you want to give us a call, you're welcome to 833-MIND-UPS. Of course, the math of that is 833-646-3877. You're welcome to give us a call. You're also welcome to give us a text if you'd like. And they remind me every day to say, standard messaging things could apply, I guess. So if you want to do that, we'd love to have you be one of our final callers this evening. Thanks for hanging out with us on what, as I say, will be the very last evening. All right, but here's one of the other things we want to do. From way back when, let me just say greetings and salutations to you as well, Joseph. From way back when, I always wanted to be able to have a show that its main goal was to prepare everyone, right? To prime your mind, to hone your heart and your head, to face whatever it is that was going to confront you that day, right? That was how I got my start, wanting to have a show that before your feet hit the floor, we could get your mind primed, because I knew fate was betting against you. I knew that fate would do whatever it could to chop block you. So what I wanted to do was to be able to get in and go, yeah, but what if, right? If circumstance is going to try to hijack your head right out of bed in the morning, what could I do, right? What would I be able to do to offer any kind of assistance to, if not prevent that hijacking, then at the very least be able to hijack your head back from where it could get to, right? Before you hit the snooze alarm, and then who knows where we go. So that was the take for me, is that I wanted to produce a show every morning that would be, as I said, I used to say way back when, as far as I can remember, amnesia is a heck of a thing. As far as I can remember saying, we'll be on your side. We've got your back. And I think we used to say, I'm on your side even when you're not. So that was the goal of the show, what we could do to make certain that we prepared you for the day. So now, and I want to play this audio if I can for you. So hold on, let me do this. Let me do this. We talked a lot about what the show is going to be. Obviously, it's still all natural being. Obviously, we're going to talk about your natural resources. Obviously, we're going to work towards all of that. But a function of this show, and I thought maybe we would just play the new open now and get everyone's take on it. Again, if you want to give me a call, 833-MIND-UPS, 833-646-3877, or you're welcome to text us as well. We're going to play the new open that we'll be doing Monday morning, and that way we can kick it around. All right, so here, it's never been heard before. Well, like 2-3 other people maybe. Myself and 2 other people have heard it, so it's kind of like our big premiere of what the new opening is going to be. All right, so here we go.
Once upon a time, they awoke to the concerted effort underway to dummy them down, to the forces working to water down human wherewithal at every turn. They stood, they rallied, they drew their line in the sand, vowing to once and for all mortal up. That was the day the tables turned, and the universe itself sat up and took notice.
All right. All right. Yeah, it was too cold here to rain, but yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, it's a swamp. But right. I just wanted to tell you, I'll try my very best to get on when I can in the mornings. You know I'm a night owl.
I do know that, dear, for sure.
I really enjoy your show.
Thank you.
And I'm kind of sad.
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. And I'm hoping when we do our 81 to win that that inner night owl of yours can call in and hang out with me. You know, we did the karaoke with you and Jamie last time. We had a bunch of cool things that we did. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to hang again throughout that. And you know, Candace, I so appreciate your call. I know it's not the same thing when we don't get to comment here live in the thread, but, you know, we'll be on Spotify. We'll be on iHeartRadio. So we're going to have the podcasts that continue to go. And I really thank you for all of the encouragement, all of the help, all the times hanging out and calling in whenever you could. It's meant the absolute world to me. So thank you very much.
Well, I'll do my very best. What is it going to be, 7 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be 7 Eastern. It'll go 7. You know, we'll give a half hour the first week or so, see how it goes, and then we'll move to 8 o'clock. And to be honest, absolutely honest with you, Candace, a lot of it will depend upon, I go back to the doctors on Wednesday to say, hey, you know, what is it that we can do to make sure that I'm getting enough rest and I'm doing all those things. So now the doctors say, well, maybe the evenings wasn't the greatest idea, right? Maybe we'll go back to mornings. So they have a little bit of a vote in this as well. And to be honest, when it comes to the 81 to win, they were like, look, we think you can do it. You're just going to need a little more time to heal because we don't want you falling asleep in the middle of it. Right? You've had 4 brain surgeries now in a little over 2 years.
Right.
You need to recoup a little. So we're listening to them, and that's a part of why we're moving back to mornings. But again, thank you for all the support. Thank you for always hanging out in the thread, always coming up with ideas.
I miss you, bro.
Well, thank you so much.
I'll try to call in when I can.
Thank you, Candace, so very much, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much, dear.
Okay. Hey, I wanted to tell you something.
Yeah, sure.
The new thing that you just played for your new show.
Yes, ma'am.
I like it. It sounds kind of Viking to me.
Well, thank you. Well, it's funny, Candace, that you use the term Viking.
A little bit Viking to me.
A little bit of Viking, right? Because we've said before that I have, you know, with all the scars I have, I definitely have more scars than a Viking, I think someone said, and that I still go back to having a face for radio. So, Candace, thank you so very much for everything, and thank you for, you know, always being so supportive and such a huge part of the thread on the evening version of All Natural Being. I look forward to talking to you whenever you can squeeze us in.
Okay, I'll try my very best. I don't sleep at night, you know, so...
Well, if you ever find yourself up and hanging out,
on whenever I can.
There you go. We'll look forward to it. Candace, thank you so much for calling. All right, farewell. Bye now.
Farewell.
All right, Candace, thank you for calling. I super appreciate it. Let me say hello to Mary. Jamie is here. Jamie, I was just talking about you. Mary, hello. Jamie, hello. Kathy is here. Lee, thank you so very much. Hey, we'll be hanging out with Lee. We're doing something different. I think the hashtag we're calling it is remotely. Lee's on the road. Yeah, he's a traveling correspondent now, you know. He's on the road, so we'll be doing Copy That Speaks tonight in about 45 minutes, 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll be doing it, but Lee will be calling in from the road. We got a really cool guest. One would think I'd know who that guest is, but I just don't yet. I haven't gotten around to it. All right, let's take another call quickly. Good evening. Welcome to All Natural Being. Who's this?
Greetings and salutations from Colorado.
Joseph, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing really good, thank you. I have to tell you, I've enjoyed all the pictures of the farm, the sunrises, the tractor, everything that you've got going on. It makes me homesick every time I see your posts on Facebook. But God love you. Everything looks like it's going great.
Yep, living life, taking every challenge and every step with faith, and trying to make every moment count.
Very cool.
I just wanted to touch base and wish you luck on your morning show, and
thank you, sir.
We will try to connect with you then. And it's great being able to come home and touch base, connect with everybody out there.
Well, I'm in hopes that we'll still. I know we've been talking to Henry. Henry is thinking about coming back on here before too long. Maybe not 5 nights a week, but somewhere, maybe back on every so often. And then I'm in hopes that if you're driving in, I don't know what time that would be, but if you're up and out, and I know you're busy doing stuff before you head in the mornings, that you'll check us out. And I also wanted to let you know that the other day when you talked in the thread about circling the wagons. A good part of that, Joseph, is I think what we're doing now, right? I've got to get on top of everything the doctors say that's going on, and the best way for me to do that is to be able to get up early, hit it hard, and then be in bed long about this time. So when you said circling the wagons, it was a term that I had used just earlier in the day when I said to the doctors, look, it's time to circle the wagons. What do we got to do? Because this is getting old pretty quick, so what do we got to do to get on top of it? So it made me think of you and Mary once again.
Yeah, cool, good. I always like to say, it's every day you have to look at it with that positive attitude, and every day is a new day.
It most certainly is.
Figuring out what you're reaching for, your goals, your ambitions, and what impressions and I guess what you're leaving in that space, meaning what you're leaving there, what others can see, what others can appreciate, and we appreciate you.
And Joseph, as I will say, as I've appreciated you and Mary, and it's odd, I was just talking to Candace, it made me think of Jamie. I have never, when you said heavy metal, I am never far. I don't know if you can see it now, but I'm never far from my sledgehammer. So every time I come down to the studio and I see that sledgehammer, I think of you, I think of the 24-hour marathon. So I thank you so very much, because your call came in at a time where I wasn't nodding off, but I was darn close. So thank you for everything and always being here in the thread, and thank Mary, please, for always being so supportive and participating all the time. I truly appreciate it.
Sure thing. Well, like I say, good luck in the morning.
Thank you very much.
We'll be thinking and praying for you.
Thank you, Joseph, very much.
You take care. You have a great evening, and thanks everybody out there for supporting you as well.
All right, brother. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Farewell.
Bye.
All right, Joseph, thank you again for calling. Candace says, I miss your jug. Thank you. Candace, Jamie says, laugh out loud. Marie, good evening. Hey, you all, right back at you. Thank you for joining us for the final episode of All Natural Being here in the evenings. Let's take a quick call. Good evening. Welcome to All Natural Being. Who's this?
This is Dave.
Dave.
Ooh, 4:30 a.m.
I know, Dave, but I got to tell you, brother, you have inspired me for years. People should know that Dave's the real deal in terms of radio and podcasting and the like. And I met Dave as a guest on one of his shows, and he has always been an inspiration to me. So believe me, when you say boo, it makes me think, man, why am I doing this? Um, but I appreciate it. I appreciate all the counsel, all the things I've learned. I've called Dave more times when I go, Dave, I just cannot get on top of this. Even like the DBX 286s and the boards and everything else, David, I owe all that learning curve to you. So thank you so very much for all that education over the years.
Well, it works both ways, Brad. I mean,
Thanks.
like you said, you came on the show one day because you sent me an email about some lunatic that was in an avalanche on purpose. And then you started talking about BEST, and I'm still talking about BEST.
Well, thank you, sir.
10 years later. So
Thank you, sir. I
good
appreciate
luck
it.
and, enjoy it.
Thank
I
you,
don't
David.
get up that early. Sorry.
All right, I know you don't, but I'll be listening to your podcast. So, and I hope we can keep in touch. David, thank you so very much. It's been, like I said, it's been a decade already. Wow, but you've taught me a ton. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
All right, amigo.
All right,
Good luck.
farewell. All right, everyone. David was talking about being buried in an avalanche years ago. I guess now you're saying you all like a Yankee. Well, I am from Virginia. We should talk about that sometime, Ray. But about a decade ago, I had the habit of having myself buried in an avalanche. It was with Michael Morrow from Morrow Media was the crew that would cover it. And I believe my first one was with Dan DeRue. Used to be an affiliate in Denver, Colorado. I know Dan's still in morning TV, but he used to be doing something. I forget the call letters, but they would we'd go up to Netherland. They'd dig a big trench, and I'd teach people how what it's like to actually be buried in an avalanche. And that's how Dave and I first got hooked up. And I've learned a ton from him, not nearly as much as I needed to learn. I could keep learning from him for good. But it's been a decade, and when he talks about burying yourself in an avalanche, that's what that was all about. Speaking about someone that I've learned from quite a bit, Matt Connerton from IPM Nation. As I said earlier in the threads, like Convos with Connerton. Thank you again for everything you've done, and you should know about Matt. God love Matt, right? Because through the shunt malfunction, through the brain tumor, right? Through the pre-brain tumor, just me being nuts, right? And then you cruising along and you get the brain tumor. And then through the brain tumor, you come back and you have the first surgery and the second surgery. And I have to say, especially now that the doctors go, oh, well, we figured it out. Your shunt was malfunctioning. That little spaghetti strap of a thing that we put in you, it wasn't working quite right. So for at least a year, you were running about 4.5 quarts low when it comes to spinal fluid. So all they can think of now is saying, yeah, you had yourself some PTSD going on there, right? Your brain was shell-shocked. You talk about an ongoing concussion and the amnesia and everything else. And poor Matt always bore the brunt of it, right? Because I'd call Matt minus, thousands of cc's of spinal fluid. I'd call Matt and go, hey, Matt, you know what I was thinking? And Matt, true to form, would go, no, Bri, what were you thinking? Oh, we should change the name of the show. Oh, we should do karaoke. Oh, we should do this. Oh, we should do that. And Matt was always so cool to me. He would go, okay, Bri, good. Let's think about that a little bit. Why don't we table that for this call? And then we'll kick it around the next time we catch up. And it's great to see Matt here this evening. I appreciate it terribly because Matt should have just cut bait a long time ago, right? Matt should have gotten rid of me quite a few episodes ago. And when I would just call, no doubt, here's my excuse, right? No doubt suffering through that PTSD, I would call with some of the craziest ideas, right? Like the only thing you could go, oh, Bri, you called Matt because you thought you saw a UFO. That might be a little crazier, but not much than some of the things that I ran by Matt. And he's always been a very, very gracious mentor and someone whose opinion I just really value. So, Matt, thank you so much for, like I said, just hanging out with me through all these episodes, all these years. And I should say the same for Jenny. Thank you all, and I super appreciate it. Marcellus, good evening. Marcellus says, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And now what is the final, let's call it final 7 minutes of All Natural Being, at least here in the evening. We'll still do the 81 to win. Let me pull that up quickly. We'll still do the Guinness World Record attempt, the official attempt. And that will be 81 hours straight of taking your calls. So we're looking forward to that. But God willing, and whatever the doctors and Ashley has a huge vote in what I do, whatever they decide, we will be moving to mornings on March 4th. So we're coming up on the closing minutes of the evening show for All Natural Being. All right, so one of the things, and let me just do this. I thank everyone that's. I think Candace said she liked it. It sounded kind of Viking. Let me play that one more time, because our morning show, we've talked a lot about your All Natural Being. Well, let me just go ahead and play it one more time and get your opinion. Here we go.
Once upon a time, they awoke to the concerted effort underway to dummy them down, to the forces working to water down human wherewithal at every turn. They stood, they rallied, they drew their line in the sand, vowing to once and for all mortal up. That was the day the tables turned, and the universe itself sat up and took notice.
Now, I got to tell you, that's not all that, for me, let me say, it's not all that crazy for me, because I've often said that I believe that the divine, in whatever definition you come to understand it, that the divine, that God, that the universe dovetails. When you hone your heart, have human wherewithal itself be watered down at all, we're going to stand. Almost, I guess you could take a little bit from the Constitution. You're going to stand against enemies, foreign and domestic, right? So outside, the committee vote trying to get in, and a little more domestic inside. What are those negative thoughts that you have ricocheting around in your head? We're going to go ahead and address them each and every morning. That's going to be, or at least weekday mornings, right? Monday through Friday. So that's going to be our goal. Kathy says, good luck with the morning show. Kathy, thank you so very much. I hope you can join us in the morning, but I want you to know that I've always enjoyed seeing your name pop up in the thread, all the interaction, all the great suggestions. Thank you so very much for being a part of our All Natural Being family. It's meant the world to me to have you jump in and comment, as it has for Marcellus and Candace, most certainly, and for Lee and for Jamie and Wayne. Thank you for everything. Matt, again, Marie, thank you so much. And here's what I think I'd like to do. And Mary, if Mary and Joseph, for sure. I know Lee was in there earlier, and David Ray Bowman, thank you so very much. So we're going to play the close that will be the close coming up in the mornings. That's what will go ahead and take us out of here. But on behalf of everyone that goes to put this show together, thank you so very much for 420, I guess 4 now episodes. Thank you so much for tolerating me, all the ins and outs with the tech and the stoppage and the audio problems. I've been learning as we go. But thank you so very much for putting up with us. We super appreciate it. Sue, nice to see you. Sorry that we're getting ready. You look great. Thank you, my friend, very much. Get better, BB, sending thoughts and healing prayers. Thank you so much. And let's do this. We'll play the close, which will be the morning close, and then we'll get out of here. But thank you so much. If you get a chance to come by and hang out in the mornings, we would love to have you. Until then, we'll see you on the other side.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.
Always remember, until I see you again, bring your own bold. Have an absolutely fantastic evening.